Girl, this Miami heat is insane. I need good vibes and a nice little refreshment right now, but I don't even feel like stepping back out in this heat.
Say no more. I got you. Starry Lemon Lime Soda.
Oh, you trying to be funny.
I'm just saying, Starry Lemon Lime Soda is good vibes and a great taste in a can. I know you're a homebody, so you don't have to leave your house for what you're looking for, and you're an early bird, so no caffeine for you.
All right. Okay, you think you know me.
And do.
I'll give it to you. This is fire. Like a crisp, you know what I mean? Just good, clear bursts of lemon lime flavor. I'm into it. Okay.
Looks like you'll be seeing another soda this season. Peace out to your old thing.
I know that's right. It's all about elevating on this side. On to bigger and better in every aspect of life.
Find Starry now in stores and online.
In terms of Gallienne's Girls, I actually started it stemming from OnlyFans being in its prime. That's actually why I started it.
But you mentioned like dating in the public eye, and you recently kind of like took that step. Isn't that so scary?
You know, I kind of would relate it actually to something like pageants, where I feel like, you know, it's taught me so much and it's toughened me up a lot. Mm-hmm. And I feel like with the path that I'm going and like just growing as a woman and elevating in so many different areas of my life, I actually feel like it's amazing because I'm like, you know what, like I can't be in control of everything that I want, and I can't be in control in terms of like how I'm viewed and like how I want things to be perceived to the media and to the public. And so when you go through something like that, which happens almost kind of like accidentally sometimes, and then you have no choice but to go with it, and you have to deal with all these harsh judgments and people like saying all these things about you, and
they're so cruel on the internet,
and they don't know you in the slightest. But honestly, I handle it so beautifully. And I honestly think a part of that is because of the way that I was raised and competing at such a young age. I'm like, whatever, it is what it is. And then also me, you know, the type of woman that you want to be, you almost have to see yourself as her and grow in that type of version of yourself every single day. So I'm like, she doesn't have time to stress over this because I'm worried about this group of people. Then think about it globally. Thinking about on a global perspective, you know. Yeah. So as you elevate in that, it's different. It's even similar with modeling as well. You can compare it to almost anything in life. With modeling, when I first started out modeling and I had to get my face done for these brands, there's some times that I hated the way the makeup artist did my face. But the thing is this is a job that I got hired for. Mm-hmm. I'm the model, so technically I'm modeling for the brand. I have to do what they want to do to my look, and I can't really be in control of that. And I don't really want to put that out to the world. But that's not real modeling. You don't think that Bella Hadid or Kendall Jenner have to deal with a glam that they don't necessarily think is for them, they don't like, but that's what the job is. That's what it is. Yeah. So, you know, you sign up for certain things and you get involved in something and you have other things that come with it, and you just got to deal with it the best way that you can.
I love that. I love when you said you envision yourself as the woman that you want to be, and how would she react? I think that's such a huge thing to say, and I kind of wanted to like dive a little deeper in that, because I think as women, we can be hard on ourselves sometimes, right? But I think if we operate from that space, that's like such a powerful, because it's like you're seeing your future self. Like you're not even thinking of who you are right now. You're already operating as if you are her, and
Absolutely.
You should.
Mm-hmm.
So like for you guys, like what does that look like? Like what are, as for our younger, you know, listeners and like viewers, like what are some things that you think we can kind of, I guess, instill in them that they should think about when it relates to like negativity and like just people having these things to say?
Well, I think what you just said is like, especially when it comes to social media, because a lot of, you know, women who are still like growing up, like coming after us in terms of age, they're dealing with social media so much more.
Oh my God, no,
and it's scary. That's what it's super scary. So I think what you said, like just responding as the woman you see yourself being like in the future, is a big one. I don't know if I could top that.
No, that's huge.
No,
that's
I
huge.
mean, I'm not gonna lie, I feel for the younger generation of women currently. Yeah. I really do, because I'm 26, and when I was I think I was 7th or 8th grade when Instagram kind of like started popping off. And I don't want to say when it started, because, you know, some of these apps have been around for like a while and we didn't even know. And that was when it started to pop off. So by the time I was like, I graduated high school, I mean, it still wasn't, influencers was maybe starting when I was like a junior, senior in high school, maybe, if even that. To be honest, I think like Vine was even like popping, honestly, still at that time. So I would say this is actually part of the reason why I started a nonprofit, because I could not even imagine, like a lot of people don't know that literally the most stressful time of somebody's life is literally in high school. Like you just go through the motions and you think that you're like 30, like this is the end of everything. This is not working out. And social media can just really, really, really
Enhance
add to that.
that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And more than anything, what I would say is focusing on rewiring your brain. Like we've all fallen short of the glory of God, right? We all have the ability and the will to like do literally whatever we want to do, right? But naturally, our human bodies, like we have sinful desires. Like that's literally what we want to do. And it's really hard because you have to literally rewire your brain to look at life differently from a completely different, beautiful perspective. And it literally takes you working on that every single day.
So
to look at things from a different perspective. And touching back on the subject of seeing yourself as the woman that you want to be, like I think a perfect example of that is a woman at a young age who's maybe 16 or 17 years old, getting herself involved in a situation that she knows is not really good for her deep down. That's one thing that we do have is
intuition.
Intuition.
Yeah. Oh my God,
and,
you got to listen to that
your
voice.
Your intuition is very valid for the most part. And, realizing like, for me, I mean, I'm 26, I'm still young, right? I would even be like, oh, like, I really want to go to that party. Like, that's a good party I should be at. Like, I should be there and I should be networking. I should be doing this and doing that. But I'm like, the future woman I see myself being, she wouldn't go to that party. So I have to look at things from that type of perspective. Like, I mean, we were just talking about, I was telling her I'm half Guyanese and I was like, she's like, have you done carnival? And I was like, no, I haven't. And I always wanted to do it, right? And the thing is because no shade to those girls. I mean, they're beautiful, they're stunning, and it's fun, it's energetic, and it's lively, right? Yeah. But for me personally, in my lane and the way that I'm moving and the way that I'm operating down the path that I am, she wouldn't do carnival. Maybe when I was 22 or 23. Yeah. But at the age of 26 and with the things that I'm doing and things that I'm starting, it doesn't align with what I'm doing.
Self.
And even though I would love to do it, because I love being like hot and fun and sexy and having fun, but then I have to realize I'm like, this doesn't fit the path that I'm going down. Yeah. So I would have to decline.
That's huge. You mentioned your mentorship program, which congratulations on that.
Thank you so
Gallienne
much.
Girls for those tuning in. Talk to us a little bit more about that. And we had a back to school drive, right? And that was really good.
That was huge.
That was huge.
No, it was so amazing. So we actually partnered up with Trina's Kids, which is another amazing nonprofit that's been around way longer than us, and they took us in and allowed us the opportunity to bring Gallienne's Girls to this event and help give back to the community. It's something that they do every single year, so we were so grateful to be a part of it, and it went extremely, extremely well. We had a great turnout, and just in terms of just Gallienne's Girls, I mean, we actually hit a year like 2 months ago, so we've been around for about 14 months now, and the amount of girls that we've helped, it's honestly just astronomical. I mean, it's so beautiful. Like I didn't really even realize what I was even doing until I really started to get into the groove of things. And that's something, just a little side note for anyone as well. Like, there's so many things in life that you don't know what to do. And then actually when you just take the jump and just do it, you figure it out. Yeah. You always figure it out. Yeah. So don't be so scared. And I just feel like that's something I just needed to mention. But in terms of Gallienne's Girls, I actually started it stemming from OnlyFans being in its prime. That's actually why I started it.
Wow.
And yeah, I actually...
Wait, you having OnFans or just like OnlyFans coming out?
No,
just the idea of OnlyFans?
Just the idea. When OnlyFans was really, really thriving, which we know was like during the pandemic, getting out of the pandemic, I feel like it's still pretty prominent right now as well. But I felt like, and no shade at all to any girls who, you are the controller of your life and you do what you want to do always. And I will respect that always.
Absolutely.
But I worry about the younger generation of women, the girls who are in high school and the girls who are entering college, who are so young and don't know anything what to do, and all they have to look to is social media. And when you look on social media, all you see are beautiful, stunning girls who, are drenched in designer and who are on this platform. And they're like, well, I want to live that lifestyle and that's what I want to do. And so maybe for me to get to that point, I need to be doing this, right? And like I said, if that is something that you want to do it. Right. But I don't want younger girls to think like this is something that I need to do and normalize being on a platform that does sexual content and has porn. And whether you don't do that or not, you're still on a platform that does that. And you have to think about the groups that you associate yourself with, and you have to think about your future. And when something gets put out there, it's out there forever, baby. It's not going anywhere.
That's true.
Right. It's not going anywhere. And I have been offered so much money from the top OnlyFans agencies. People have been trying to get me to do it for years because will I post a little sexy content here and there? Yeah, like, you know, on my Instagram, but I'm not going to be putting myself on a platform where you're going to pay for me to
literally for that content.
You have
reach
to look
out
at it
to you to pay, like for you to be on I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah, but then absolutely, 100%. Because also too, they will see, you know, oh, people love me. When are you going to start an OnlyFans?
Yeah.
Like, I'll pay for this, I'll pay for that. But first of all, fast money is not always good money. First of all,
that part.
And second of all, a lot of people don't know, especially a lot of women, that you really only make money on OnlyFans if you have a following. If you're on, you know, if you're in high school and you're in college and you're just starting and you're like, I can make a little bit of money from this, the money that you're making is not even comparable to what these huge creators are making because they have such a huge following.
Yeah.
So you're actually putting your content and your sexual content out there
for free.
I
mean, yeah.
Not
she said it. We were thinking it, but she said it. No,
yeah.
but absolutely.
No, because it's true.
Yeah.
It's, people get on there thinking like, oh, I'm just gonna. That people like randomly find you. Like, no, people usually go from somebody's like Instagram or like existing platform
100%.
to their OnlyFans and to find them.
Yeah, and the thing is too as well is, you know, I'm making this kind of conversation about OnlyFans, but really this is actually what made me want to start my nonprofit because I wanted to help guy girls and make them realize this is not the path that you need to go down.
There's other options.
And encouraging women to get into different fields, especially male-dominated fields, because you know what I'm saying. We need to elevate our women,
Absolutely.
and we need to like change that gap a little bit. So outside of that, it grew into something so much more. That's what it stemmed from, and then it grew into something so much more. Where I was like, wow, this is a beautiful thing. And just briefly, I actually have 12 different themes for every month of the year, and we believe that all of these themes added together are what makes a beautiful, well-rounded woman. And so themes consists of, you know, like business, confidence, health and wellness, sisterhood. And we have an event every single month that is geared around that topic.
So dope.
Yeah, we decided to do, I don't know what other nonprofits are doing, but this is what I was like, you know, this is a really cool concept. And we're like, you know, all of these things together would make a beautiful, well-rounded woman. And so that's basically what we've been doing, and it's been going great.
I love that. That is amazing.
That's such a good
that
idea.
Is so good.
We need to do a Fortune and Forks and Gallienne's girl something in LA.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because you have one as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, Fortune and Forks, it kind of like started as a nonprofit, but it kind of like snowballed into a social club, which is what it is today. But it's for women of color in various industries to connect and network. Because we feel like the best way for us to really move forward and help each other is literally to just create organic relationships. Like a lot of times when you go into, and a lot of times when you go into like these networking events, it feels very stuffy. Like, what can I do for you? What can you do for me? And like in our events, it's very much like building organic relationships with other women who are in really powerful positions. Or women who may not be, that you can help get to that. And so we like put together events throughout the year just allow the girls to kind of connect and like get together and stuff like that. I'm doing a terrible job of pitching Fortune and Fortune.
No, you're doing great.
But if you go to the Instagram, like you'll see like what we do throughout the year. But then for 2025, not me dropping tea, but we do have a Fortune and Forks Foundation that we've unofficially announced. I guess this is the official announcement. But like we want to do a little bit more with high school and college girls. So like Fortune and Forks Social Club is for like women who are in their careers and a little more like, you know, settled, but we want to kind of like streamline women from like high school to college and like
that is amazing.
Into, you know, like positions in their fields that they're interested in.
That's where it stems from. And it's so funny that you say that because for 2025, that's actually our focus for Gallienne's girls is to hit the academic system.
I love that.
And get it girls who are more in middle school and high school, because obviously that's like where it stemmed from. But then as we're growing and elevating, you realize how many women that are actually over 18 and in their 20s that don't know where they are and what they're doing.
They need the direction.
And so we dedicated so many events to so many of those girls, and we don't want to limit ourselves, obviously, and we want to be able to hit that academic world. So that's a goal for us.
Yes,
I love that.
I'm like really, I really want to focus on just encouraging like high school girls to go to college, especially like in New York. It's very easy for you to get distracted there and kind of like, you know, see what you see on social media and say, I'm not going to do this, I'm going to go do that or whatever. So I'm really looking forward to doing that in 2025.
I love
that. That is so beautiful. Yeah, and I love how with your foundation, you guys focus on not only just like helping women build confidence, but also financial literacy, which I think is huge.
That's super important.
That is so important.
Financial literacy is one of our themes, actually. Yeah. So financial literacy has completely changed my life, and I I love it so much. It's so unfortunate because it's something that they don't prioritize in schools and something that they don't.
It needs
and
to
I
be
wish
like
they
an
did.
academic
I mean, it's
course.
literally, it's, that whole system is, sometimes meant to put you back almost like where you started, put you in the 9 to 5, get you to work that, everyday job that really is just draining to you. And it's so unfortunate. That's the beauty actually of social media. I think social media has actually been able to give people a voice and a chance to do something more than that, than to be put in the same cycle. But when it comes to financial literacy, I took it upon myself, like my financial journey specifically, I took it upon myself to find a financial advisor. And I was like, I want to learn everything, teach me everything I need to know. And I got blessed with someone who actually took the time to want to teach me about a bunch of different types of things in terms of investments, how to operate, how money works, inflation, losing your value on money. And I didn't know any of this. And I learned so much. And it's crazy too, because you don't even necessarily need to pay a lot of money to a financial advisor. Also, whatever you invest, with them or you work with them, it's actually the industry standards is actually like 1%. So they get like 1% of basically what you're doing and what you're working on and your profits and things like that. And I just learned so much that it literally just had me look at life so differently. And I changed my investments and I changed so many things around at such a young age. I started doing this actually when I was 21. Wow. So now I've currently been investing now for over 5 years. And I have life insurance. I have a non-retirement investment account.
I know that's
I need your financial advisor.
I know that's right.
I need to get myself together.
I was literally going to ask you, like, what did you feel like was one of the most important investments you made? But I think having a financial advisor is one of those things.
No, honestly, here's the thing.
No, not only having a financial advisor, it's having a good financial advisor.
Absolutely. And, I was blessed with, I've gone through 2 now, but they're both literally amazing only because one had to move to a different field. So she actually recommended me to somebody else. I also would prefer that if you are a woman, I would say a woman is amazing as well because, we're already kind of given a disadvantage over men. Yeah. So I think it's really good to have a woman in that space to kind of educate you. And also they feel like they're a little bit more willing to take the time as well. And just being a woman in general, it's better to be in a comfortable environment. Yeah. But I've learned so much through my financial advisors and in terms of my investments. And the thing is a lot of people, you can take it upon yourself to go and learn yourself. And that's amazing as well. And invest on these other platforms where you don't have to have someone else investing your money. So I am a big supporter of that as well. But I just learned so much. And that's something that we prioritize is financial literacy, understanding the value of money, how it works, what to put it into, understanding the market. It's so incredibly vital and important. And this is something that I don't ever speak about. It's just something that I've always done. And then I just kind of like live my life and just kind of like, I don't speak on it often, but it's my job as a public figure to literally spread awareness of this and to actually help women. It's important.
I love that.
Yeah, for real. I'm gonna need your financial advisor.
Let's talk after the show.
Yeah, let's talk. Yeah. No, so what are some things in terms of investment specifically? What are some things you're doing today, investment wise, to help you elevate tomorrow and your future? So is it stocks? Is it bonds? Like what is it exactly that you feel like helps you the most?
So I do have a non-retirement investment account, which is a little bit more on the safer side of investments. So that is something that I feel like every single person should do, especially at such a young age in your early 20s. I think it's very, very important. And so these are kind of like, this is obviously the market investing into like, the S&P 500 and you have like, I think stocks and bonds as well. I'm invested into everything. The key to all of it is having a very diverse portfolio, not keeping all your money in one place and also choosing which parts of your portfolio need to be a little bit more aggressive and which need to be a little bit more moderate as well. So that's always helped me. Life insurance is amazing. Something you always want to like, because you get a death benefit and a lot of people don't know as well. It's still money that's invested into the market, which is amazing. And then you have your other investments that you can like pull out whenever you want and money that you can pull out tax-free, which is also very important. With my non-retirement investment account, it's long-term investments, but when I take that money out, I'm taxed on it. So also knowing what's tax-free, what's not. And so stuff like that is really important. Let me see. And outside of that, something I've been wanting to add to my financial portfolio is real estate.
Same.
So real estate is extremely important. I think it's absolutely one of the best investments that you can make because it literally from the beginning of time, real estate has always appreciated.
Absolutely.
Always. You see a building 10 years ago, it's $200,000. Now it's $500,000. That's just literally, and that's something that is statistically valid it has not changed. You know what I mean? So that is something that I think is extremely important that I want to add to my portfolio. I've been in many different situations where I've almost got a property and I almost got like a multifamily home, and then I would pull out last minute because of fear.
Yeah.
And so this is something like,
girl, you gotta do it.
Right, right. And see, I'm also in the works of starting all these businesses as well. And so I think that's why I'm like, oh, wait, let me like put this lump sum of money into these businesses first before I get real estate and do this and do that. But at the end of the day, I'm here to talk about my successes and things that I've done that have helped me and thrive, but also just talk to you about the things that I'm trying to work on and succeed in as well. And I think real estate is one of those things that I really, really want to dive into that market. One of my friends was telling me yesterday how they basically got like a multifamily home, and this person is really, really amazing at just actually saying they're going to do something and doing it, right? And when you have people like that in your life, keep them around.
You have
because
to.
It literally it makes you want to do the same thing as well. And so they were telling me about how they just got this multifamily home, and they're like, oh my gosh, and then I had to put this amount of money into it, and I had to do this and do this, and they were so nervous at first. 6 months later, they're like, oh, I got this property. I'm making a $7,000 to $8,000 a month in profit. It's actually paying off my rent. It's paying off my car. It's doing this. I can't wait to get my next multifamily home. And once I do this, once I get the renovations up and I basically refinance, then the property is going to appreciate to this value, and then you're just it just keeps going.
Bringing in the
but it's something that you just got to take the jump and do it. So that's something that I want to add to my financial portfolio.
Same. That's amazing. It's always scary when you like think about like the real estate market and
No,
just
it is,
starting it,
because
but it's always beneficial, like you said.
I don't remember where I heard it, probably TikTok, but like somebody said, when you rent, you know how much you're going to pay every month. But when you own stuff, you know the least amount you're going to pay every month. Does that make sense? Because sometimes you can buy a property and then you have to fix this, you fix that on top of the mortgage.
Absolutely.
So like, you know you're going to pay that mortgage, but you don't know if the roof is going to fall in. You don't know if
it's a lot.
So it's a very scary thing to do, but it's always beneficial. Like once you get past those humps, it's very beneficial.
Absolutely, because like I said, it's almost like it's kind of hard to lose in that situation. Another thing of investing that I think is also very important is like a money market. Like that, it has its pros and its cons, but like a money market is great because you're actually just investing into like, your bank, or like your bank always needs money to use and to borrow and things like that. And so a money market is great because you invest your money, you can take it out whenever you want. Basically, you call your banker and you tell them, listen, I need to take out this amount of money, but actually you have an interest rate, a high interest rate would be probably 5 or 6%, but whether you're getting 3 to 6% or whatever, like you're still, at least your money is growing on its own. Because if you just leave your money in your bank account, you're losing, the value of your dollar every single day due to inflation. So it's really important to like understand investing and like get a financial advisor, learn as much as you can, take a financial literacy class because they don't want to offer it in schools.
It's the stuff they don't want you to know.
It's the stuff they don't want you to know. They want to keep you in this bubble, and you have to literally step out of your comfort zone and gain knowledge in other areas to be able to be successful.
Yeah, and there's so many like programs and grants and things out for first-time home owners and just like entrepreneurs. People have businesses. You would be so surprised the type of grants and things that you can get just to
you would
buy.
never know.
You would never know.
You would never know. Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's so important. I'm glad you said that.
And I love that we're like talking about this, right? Because we're not that we've got everything figured out.
Conversation.
This is a very elevating conversation, and not that we have gotten everything figured out in life. Realistically, like we're still learning, right? But it took us time, and it took a journey to get here, and it took different seasons of life to happen, up seasons, the peaks and valleys of life's journey. But literally, like it took seasons for us to get here. So like, I would love to talk a little bit about like low seasons and like where was there ever like a time where you felt like,
I love that you're asking this question.
I don't know if I'm gonna make it.
Hey elevators, this episode is brought to you by Ford. You know we love dropping gems on ways to elevate in life, so we had to take a moment to talk about why being open to new roads is so crucial when chasing your goals.
See, because when you're on a journey to elevate your life, staying flexible and ready to adapt can unlock amazing new opportunities you could have never imagined. It's all about finding the freedom to change course.
So if you're feeling the vibe to break out of your usual routine and reroute your journey, lean into it. Reinventing yourself is such a powerful way to live more fully and get the most out of every moment.
On the road of reinventing ourselves, it's just as vital to find those little things in life that gives us a sense of stability, like the new Explorer.
Turn up the adventure with Ford digital experience, including a 13.2-inch center touchscreen where you can always watch the latest episode of Elevators. Don't forget who put y'all on.
Start your next adventure in America's all-time best-selling SUV. Based on S&P Global Mobility 1946 current U.S. total new cumulative registrations for all vehicles identified as SUVs. The new Ford. Well, you know what it is. It's all in the name. The new 2025 Ford Explorer, built Ford proud.
Because I'm literally just coming out a very low season. Like July whipped my butt. July had hands, and I was like going through it mentally. I was literally going through it. Like this might have been like the toughest, other than like high school, right? Like, you know, there's always something like a part of your life, like a certain time frame of your life where things are really hard. And I haven't gone through that since like high school or like middle school or something stupid like that. But like as an adult, like this last month has probably been like the hardest month for me. So I'm coming out of a very low season right now. So
Good to know you're coming out of it.
Yeah.
I'm coming out of it. I'm coming out. I didn't think I was gonna make it. I didn't think I was gonna make it. But so I want to talk a little bit about
seasons
and like a time where you felt like you.
It's so interesting that we're having this conversation, because I feel like even right now, just social media, the nature of social media, I feel like so many people are going through it right now. Like at one time, like some of our peers. Like just in general, I feel like everybody's going through, and I just think the world is just shifting in so many different ways that a lot of people are feeling it, like from just different angles. So I'm glad that we're having this conversation, because like, you know, we always post what's going good.
You can talk about good things all day, and everyone on Instagram posts their best day.
Exactly. But there's times where we're waiting for that next gig, where we don't know where the money's gonna come. Like, so I'm glad we're having this real girl conversation, because it's important for people to know that it's not always high. There's the lows of the low too.
Absolutely. Something I really am happy that you actually brought that up, because something that I incorporate in my life. Well, let me just say this. I have this like different type of joy that I don't know where it comes from. I believe everything comes from God. It has no choice, because there's nothing else to explain. The feeling that I naturally have, I have this just this beautiful type of joy, and I'm so incredibly grateful for that, right? And I don't deal with mental health issues, and I know this is something that a lot of people do struggle with. So, and I feel like, that being said, certain things that I'm doing in my life must obviously be working. So let me share this and see like if this possibly may work in your life. And perspective is a lot of things. Sometimes it's not even about literally doing something. It's literally about thinking differently. And I think that goes back to rewiring your brain. And it's literally an everyday effort at trying to do something like that. And so for me, when it comes to, we all have peaks and valleys. And I feel like for me, I like to look at life, right? Almost like, like my life is a movie, my life is a book, right? There's going to be highs, there's going to be climaxes, and there's going to be a lot of lows. And when you almost like look at life like that, first of all, life is so simple. We overcomplicate everything in life.
We do.
Everything. And things are so much more simple than what we make it out to be. So that being said, I look at my life almost like a movie or like a book, where I'm like, I will wake up some days and I will be like, I am ugly. What are people seeing me?
Bye.
I'm like, this is not working out. Where am I going? What direction am I headed in? I'm like, oh my God, like, have I really even succeeded in things? I just start to question myself and go into an overboard, right? But then I almost like wake up and I almost like laugh at it. I almost like, I'm so crazy. I'm like, it's one of those days. I'm like, so in my movie, this is the bad day. Like, this is the bad one, the bad season. And so I think it actually is so crazy when you just take a step back and you just like realize like life is so much more simple than what we make it. And you're like, you know what? You embrace it almost. And when you realize that, you embrace it. And that is something that I feel like a lot of people don't do. Like I told you, I'll wake up some days and I'll be like, oh, I don't like how I feel. I don't like how I look. But I'm like, oh my God, it's like one of those days. And so I embrace it. I almost embrace
like, girl, I'm being crazy. You're going to tell yourself, like, you're being a little crazy today.
Literally. And I feel like just that perspective helps a lot. I mean, because in everything in our life, I mean, it's literally everything is a change of perspective, how you look at things, whether you're a pessimist or whether you're an optimistic and an optimist. And so I basically, for me, I incorporate that in my life, where I just look at things a little bit differently. And I just have a little bit of a perspective change, and I embrace it. Whatever I'm going through, if you're hurting, if you're grieving, if you're sad, if you're going through a situation in your life where you don't really know what's going on, embrace it, deal with it, cope with it. A lot of people like to actually like hide things and like,
you gotta let yourself feel those feelings.
I always say that
you can't get through it if you don't.
And we're human beings. Like I always say, like, I know sometimes I embrace, we talked about this like a few shows ago. I love crying sometimes because when you
we talked about crying in the show,
or literally
or just crying in general,
absolutely,
like getting those emotions
and then you like look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, do I look this pretty when I cry?
No, for real. It's like we just need to, as human beings, you just have to feel. And I love that you said that. And I think a lot of people, you know, I feel like stray away from that. Like they don't want to sit into it.
And you can't grow when you do something like that. Like, I mean, if an unfortunate event happens in your life, or God forbid somebody passes away that's close to you, right? Like when you do embrace things in your life and you incorporate that on a daily basis, then it gets to a point where something really unfortunate happens in your life, you almost embrace it and you can't, you stay in that moment for a little bit, but you almost can't stay in that rut for too long because it's not you. You embrace everything. So you're like, okay, now I got to get back on it. So when you deal with life in that type of way, I feel like naturally it starts to work out better for you, and you don't even allow yourself to stay in that valley for too long.
It's so true. Like I know for me, like daily like habits, I feel like is huge, plays a part in that. Like I know we talked about like fitness in the top of the show, but do you have certain things? Like I know for me, like I like journaling, or I'll get into my Bible, do some devotionals. Do you have like daily habits that you feel like help you maintain that great joy that you have?
Absolutely. The first thing I do when I wake up is I read my devotional, 100%. So I read a devotional when I wake up. I read a devotional when I go to sleep, and that's a daily part of my routine. It always starts my day off right, because also too, I like to live within that. Like if I read a devotional and it's talking to me about faith, right? That is something that I try to incorporate throughout my day. I almost realize I take notice of things, and I think everything happens for a reason. You see things for a certain reason. Things happen in your life for a certain reason. And you ever like wake up and you read a devotional, it's exactly what you're going through in your life. And you're like, oh my God, God is listening. But outside of that, I also, the first thing I do, I get up every day, and I've been crazy about this. My mom always makes fun of me. I make my bed up. It's the first thing that I do actually before my devotional. I always make my bed up, right? And it's been something that I've done since a little girl. And I would be like, don't sit on my bed. My bed has to be perfect. I just made it up. And I would always keep it like that. And it's like a mental thing where like it's the first thing of your day that starts your day off right. And you clean up something and you're like, that's something that you did well and you did for yourself. And a lot of people don't realize, but throughout your day, you're like, oh, I did that. I checked that off my list. I did this. And when you feel like you're succeeding in things, whether that's little or small, it makes a big difference in how you feel and how you operate. And so when you like make your bed up, it's the first thing that you do in the morning. It already feels like, okay, number one, I succeeded in that. And then waking up a little bit earlier, I used to wake up at like 8 or 9 a.m. thinking that was like early. And I realized how much of my day that I wasted. And I was like,
sorry. Because you laughed and I laughed with you too.
Because I literally, Amanda will call me at 10 and I'm like, what? It depends. That's so funny. I'm a late bloomer.
No, I don't blame you.
I need to change my habits.
No,
because,
but the thing is,
baby, I don't even make my bed, and I'm listening to you. I'm like,
you
maybe
gotta
I should
also
make my
give
bed.
yourself credit too. Crystal is a hard worker. Like
I work late though.
She may be late in the morning, but she's crunching them numbers at 3 a.m. You know what I mean? Like she's doing shit.
I'm a night yourself credit.
I'm a night owl.
You gotta give yourself credit.
I'm a night owl too, and that's my problem. But that's why
you
I was
want to
like,
wake up early and you go to bed super late.
I'm sorry, but 9 or 10, huh? Like I just feel like that's crazy.
That's hard.
Like,
girl, I'm like up on my laptop at 2 a.m.
No,
it's
literally.
bad.
I'm like, you can sleep when you die. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to do all that. So I stretch my limits a little bit too. But for me, if I get 6 to 7 hours of sleep, I'm hitting my sweet spot and I'm good. But just realizing how much more of the day, it's two things. Realizing how much more you can do in the day and get done at 6 or 7, waking up at 6 or 7 in the morning. And then also, it's the type of peace that you have in the morning. I'm telling you, when you wake up in the morning and like earlier than most people, let's just say.
So what's your time? 5, 6?
No, for me, it's like a good 6 to 7 a.m. And that's still for me. I personally even want to start earlier than that. Yeah. But when you wake up in the morning, right, it's also the same thing. Like I don't go straight to grabbing my phone, right? And I heard this on a podcast actually from Mel Robbins. If you don't know her, she's amazing.
Love Mel Robbins.
She's amazing. Love
she's
her,
really
right? Good. And she said something to me that made me look at it so differently. And she's like, when you wake up in the morning, right, you don't grab your phone because the morning is the one time of the day that you have completely to yourself before you let other people in and before you like go out into the world and put yourself around other people and all this different type of energy. And she's like, so when you grab your phone, like, she's like, are you going to let someone into your bedroom when you wake up? Or are you going to let someone sit there while you go to the restroom and go pee? Like, no, you're not, because that is time for you. That is time for yourself. So you get up in the morning, you start your day, you make your bed, you read your devotional, you journal, whatever works for you. And then you literally just go throughout the rest of the morning until you actually get to the point where you need to sit down and be like, okay, I'm going to be on my phone, because you don't let people into your life in the morning. This is time for yourself. And this is your peaceful time. And touching on that, adding to that, one of the biggest things for me is just balance, and isolation is so important. I need time with my family. I need time with my man. I need time with my friends. I need time alone, and I need time with my work. And when I have everything in my life and all of that is balanced, that's when I'm thriving the most. I notice if I get a little too much time with my family, okay, I'm getting a little too comfortable. I need to get back in the real life, right? If I have a little bit too much time with my friends, okay, I need a little bit more of like, you know, I feel like I'm going out a little bit too much. Maybe I'm in a social light a little bit too much. And then when you spend too much time with your man, I feel like we all know, like, you know, you're cut off from the world, you know, and then obviously too much work is never good either. So when you have a nice balance between all of that, life is amazing.
Thriving. Yeah. So good. I'm huge on making the bed too. I'm like, there's a book on it, by the way.
Really?
Just making the bed. No, there was a guy, I think he was in the military. No, it's a short read, and it's a guy who was in the military, but he talks about how this one skill, literally, that if you can master doing something like this, like how it just kind of like plays a part in the trajectory of your entire day. And just like you said, knocking off goals, like it's just something that's so simple that we don't necessarily do all the time.
It's
that can just change your mindset.
Absolutely.
I promise you, the days I don't make up my bed, I have a bad day. And I've noticed that for a fact. I'm like, I didn't make up my bed. I'm not saying that that's the main reason, but that was the change that I'm like, okay, I need to just do this every day. You know what I mean? Whether I have a bad day or not, or a good day, it just needs to be something that's like habit. So
absolutely.
I need to start making my bed.
Yeah.
I've never made my bed.
Oh my God, really? So when you come back home, because imagine you go to,
you feel like
you go to work and you do a whole day.
But I do need to start making it. In general, I need to start making it because I want to implement some of the things that you guys are like talking about on this podcast. I'm going to take it home with me and see how disciplined I can be about it.
I'm glad you said that. I feel like that's one of the things I love about our show is that we're not only just wanting to elevate you all and like the people that are tuning in, we're trying to elevate each other.
Absolutely.
This is sisterhood. So I love that because different things you've said inspired me, different things you say all the time.
Vice versa.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, I just love that we have that synergy as women, and I want us to always have that collaborative, effort with each other.
Like, we all don't have it figured out. The same way I told you guys, like, of course I would love to be here and be like, oh yeah, I have all these investments and I do this and I have real estate and this, that, but I don't. It's something I'm getting into. And it's something that I want to share with you guys because I hope that we can all get in at the same time. You know?
And I love how like real you are about that though, because I think you kind of mentioned this earlier, but like people see what they see on social media and they see, oh, Gallienne, 1.something million and she must be like this, she must be like that. But I think that like just hearing you talk today will definitely give people a completely like new perspective on you. Like,
because we already love you. So I'm
but like, wait, and you mentioned businesses. Are you launching stuff?
I am.
What
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm working on a skincare brand as well as a clothing brand.
Love it.
Which is really, really exciting. Really the skincare I've been working on for over a year. I'm really, really excited, but I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. So, we're actually going through testing and trials and everything right now, which is really, really exciting.
That's important. I love to hear that because people launch brands and don't do that
I don't play with that. So that's
your
why
skin is beautiful. So I already know that you're not playing about that skincare line.
Thank you. I'm a skincare girl for sure. So that's why it's been taking more time because I really do want it to be absolutely perfect and be fitted to everyone's skin type, which this is something that actually will be. So it's exciting because it's unisex. It's literally made for everybody. And you guys are going to see, I'm going to keep you guys tuned on that.
Yes.
And then in terms of the clothing brand, this is something where actually I credit like my assistant to this and my team. They were like, well, why don't you also do this because you love fashion, you love clothes, you love to shop? And I'm like, I do, but I'm doing the skincare. Like, this is my thing. And they're like, but why limit yourself? And I was like, why? Why limit myself?
Right.
And so then I actually started to like work on some pieces and like get into a field that I actually love. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so amazing. It's something that I love, but I never thought I was going to do. And now I'm doing two things that I absolutely have a huge passion in. And it's crazy too, because then you end up having a focus on something and then you end up starting something like randomly off the rip. And then that's what's really thriving and you see the vision and I'm like, oh my God, this is not what I was thinking life was going to be like. But just literally, moral
So many
of the story,
people
don't
do it.
don't limit
Yeah.
yourself.
It's clothing. It's not like athletic wear, right?
It's not athletic wear. It's not athletic wear. But but outside of all these things, something else is I actually am releasing a workout plan soon as well. And so that's dropping actually before all of this is. So that's really exciting. I actually just finished filming last week. So
Nice.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I was literally gonna ask you, like, are you gonna give people your diet,
girl,
like
absolutely.
the workout?
She's like, are you gonna like
help us? Yeah, hello. I've literally been trying to get that ad line for so long. And it's just,
No, I got you guys. And this is something too that I'm like fitness is such a huge passion, a huge part of my life. But the thing is when it really is something that you love, you're thinking like, I'm not thinking about making money off of this. Like this is something that I love and I do for myself. But then I'm like, I'm not doing my job and helping other people by keeping this to myself. And also common sense is not that common in a respectful way. Meaning like, for me and you work out as well, you're like, oh, well, this is easy. Like, this is clockwork.
What you know is what you know.
Right.
And people really are so lost. They don't understand what a rep is. They don't understand what a set is. They don't know what a power set. You have to really break it down. And this is like something like we've known for so long. And that's something that I had to realize is taking myself out of my own little world, of my own bubble, and being like, okay, I actually have to start from the ground up and let people really see what it is and teaching people what it is. So I'm really doing this to really give back, and also to I do want to kind of venture into athletic wear with that.
I love that you're saying that, because on top of fitness, like yourself, like there's so many things that I love, like that I want to do as well. And I think it's so important for us not to, like, there's so many celebrities that start a liquor brand, that start a fashion brand, that start a skincare line.
And it means nothing to them.
And they're just doing it. And
they're
like,
just doing
it's
it
something
they have
that
the
they're
funds and the ability to
passionate
do.
about. Yeah. So I think to your point, like whatever it is that we're passionate about or what you're passionate about, do it. Like you said earlier, like sometimes we're afraid to just take that step, and we'll figure it out in the midst of doing the work, like just getting it done. So
you figure it out.
I love that.
Yeah. And just honestly, just realizing like, I don't know about you guys, but something that I love to do is I love to talk to people who are so much older than me, whether they're in their 40s or 50s, in their 80s, and asking them like, what advice would you give me? Like what would you have done differently in your life? Asking people who have lived life already and have so much more experience than you, and asking them like, what would you have done differently, is literally like, you want to know about life and how to operate in life. There's no answer to anything, but actually talking to somebody who has went through it, it's so interesting and it's so exciting, and it makes you be like, okay, like let me start to look at life like this. And two of the biggest ones that I've heard is take risks. Don't be comfortable, and don't sit in the same lane, because it's something that you will regret for the rest of your life. And that's actually my biggest fear ever, is to be comfortable and to not take risks. So that being number one. And number two, these are the two that I've heard the most from older people, and people more actually in their 60s or 70s actually. And the other one is, it always works out. It always works out. You stress so much, but then how many things have you stressed about? I actually got chills. How many things have you stressed about and you're just like, oh my God, I don't know how this is going to work out and what's going to happen and blah, blah, blah. But then you meet somebody, something comes into your life and changes the whole trajectory of everything. And it always works out, and you stress yourself so much. And that also goes into living in the moment, because you rob yourself of your current joy by just stressing over the future constantly.
Well, listen, it's been amazing. I feel like we've had so much fun.
This was fun.
This was so much fun. We've talked about so much with you. We loved having you on our show.
Thank you.
You need to come back. Yeah, you need to come back. We'll talk about something else.
This is amazing. I literally forgot we're even on camera.
I know. Like, we're just having girl talk. So definitely come back. Gallienne, thank you so much for tuning in and joining us, or for you guys tuning in and joining us here on Elevators Podcast. Make sure you guys like, follow, and subscribe for more. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.